What is up, YouTube? It is Dolly back in the house again today. And today, of course, we're going to be covering live the Portland and the Chicago protest. You notice I didn't say riots. A lot of people like, Dolly, it's not a riot. It's not a riot. Not until I get there. Then it becomes a riot. Okay. Then it becomes a full blown riot. All right. So people still going to jail. People still acting crazy. Antifa, domestic terrorism at its best. Okay. It don't matter if you change from black skinny jeans to damn inflatable costumes. You're still Antifa. Okay. You're still Antifa. That's what it is. That is what it is. Good morning, my beautiful people. And of course, if you're here with me to go over this stuff, I'm going to need you to leave your fingerprints, your DNA, all over that like button, just in case a furry or an inflatable gets you. Dolly's going to fight him off. I'm going to poke holes in the inflatable costume. I'm going to save your life. Okay. And you need that. It's 2025. You never know when inflatables could attack. Okay. When inflatables attack. That should be the headlines today. When inflatables attack. All right, we've seen all kind of inflatables already go to jail. I never thought it'd be a day where I'd watch an inflatable person go to jail, but hey, it's a new day and era. Who's seen it coming? Who's seen it? We're almost at the verge of robots. And now, what if there's a clash between the robots and the inflatables? Okay, who would win? Elon Musk is his Optimus or the inflatables when they attack, right? It'd be a good fight. Also, if you're brand new here, make sure you sub up the channel, ring the bell. We're on that journey to 82,000 people. All right. I can't count past 82, but 82,000 sounds like a lot. And I can't get there without the help of each and every one of you. Now, if you're super cool and not a big lame-o, okay, now if you're a big lame-o out there, don't share my video. But if you're super cool, drop my video on your Facebook. Now, listen, I only associate with cool ass people. So if you're a big old nerd, don't do it. Don't do it. But if you look in the mirror and go, you know what? I'm a cool ass person. I want you to share it. I want you to share this video, but you got to meet those criteria. Okay. You got to be like, yeah, I'm just the baddest in the land. And then you go, I'm so cool. I can share Dolly's video today. So, like I was saying, the protests are just heating up. More people going to jail. And, you know, Donald Trump, our president, if you like him or if you don't like him, he has been trying to send the National Guard in there to kind of break this stuff up, right? Because he don't want lawlessness on the streets of America. And even though it's not the craziest lawlessness we've seen, because they're trying to make a mockery of what is going on, especially in Portland. Okay. It was a lot more violent. And then when Donald Trump threatened to send in the National Guard, they said, oh, there's no violence here. And they started dressing up like furries. Okay. Furries and inflatable turtles, dinosaurs, frogs, unicorns. Oh my. Okay. They have more animals now than the circus. Okay. While they eat vegan food and drink Starbucks coffee, they want to melt the ice, but just not in their latte. Just not in their latte. They're like, listen, we got to have ice for our latte and our vegan sandwiches, but we don't want illegal immigration in our country, right? Well, no, they don't want to get rid of illegal immigration in their country. I said that all kind of wrong. Now, it'd be okay if they thought that, right? Well, we don't want this, but no, they want this. They want people to come to our country legal. They don't care if you're a cartel member. They don't care if you're a bad person that just got out of prison in Guatemala for murder and rape and killing kids. They don't care about none of that. That's not important to them. What's important to them is what inflatable costume are we going to wear while we stand in front of one ICE building? That's it, right? That is totally it. Now, like I said, Trump's been wanting to bring in the National Guard, and it looks like Oregon has shut that down. No National Guard will be in Portland to assist the ICE workers, right? But listen, I think ICE honestly has it under control right now, right this second. But, you know, if it gets worse, the president can put in an executive order and send troops anyway. When the final decision comes down to protect this country, it's that of our president. He's just been trying to do things the legal way right now and not boss just over everybody, which I think, you know, listen, there's really no need to send them in if they keep continuing to act the way they are. I believe ICE can drag a couple inflatables into the facility and arrest them as needed. But they have shut Trump down, and they're not going to allow the National Guard into Portland. And we're going to cover that for you right here from News 2. All right, let's pull it. Let's bring in News 2 to the chat. News 2 has just entered the chat, as on the Tita would say. Okay, let's get it.
We do begin with that breaking news at 5 tonight, a major decision on whether the city of Portland will see federal troops on its streets. The Ninth Circuit Court says National Guard troops can remain federalized but not deployed in Portland. The court just granted an administrative stay on a temporary restraining order, or TRO. There's a full hearing tomorrow on that restraining order. K2 is on your side tonight, breaking down exactly what this means. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Deborah Knapp. The decision is just the latest in a long list of new developments unfolding over the past few hours. Here's what else happened today. President Trump once again signaling out Portland during a roundtable discussion with cabinet members and conservative influencers on Antifa. We're also learning about some changes to the way Portland police responds to the ICE facility. This is following yesterday's visit by DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. K2's on your side with live team coverage. Christina Giardinelli is live outside the ICE facility with more on PPB strategy. And Vasily Varlamos is standing by with what was said.
I think I played the wrong video for you. I don't know how I did that, but I think I absolutely played the wrong video, okay? It's this one I was supposed to play 1 hour ago.
This is breaking news.
We do begin with that breaking news at 5 tonight, a major decision on whether the city of Portland will see federal troops on its streets. The Ninth Circuit Court says National Guard troops can remain federalized but not deployed in Portland.
Not deployed.
The court just granted an administrative stay on a temporary restraining order, or TRO. There's a full hearing tomorrow on that restraining order. K2 is on your side tonight, breaking down exactly what this means. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Deborah Knapp. The decision is just the latest in a long list of new developments unfolding over the past few hours. Here's what else happened today. President Trump once again signaling out Portland during a roundtable discussion with cabinet members and conservative influencers on Antifa. We're also learning about some changes to the way Portland police responds to the ICE facility. This is following yesterday's visit by DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. K2's on your side with live team coverage. Christina Giardinelli is live outside the ICE facility with more on PPB strategy. And Vasily Varlamos is standing by with what was said at the roundtable.
We begin with K2 Shelby Slaughter now on that TRO ruling. She's live at the federal courthouse downtown. Shelby, right now, nothing changes, right?
Yeah, Stephen, I do just want to note here, this is confusing to understand. I did call Dan Rayfield's office earlier to get some clarity after this ruling went down, or came down. Here's what you need to know. Now, this stay is in response to the first temporary restraining order granted by a federal judge on Saturday. That order defederalized Oregon National Guard troops and blocked them from deploying in Portland. This order keeps those troops in federal status, but continues to block them from deploying. A second temporary restraining order was also granted Sunday from the Trump administration when they sent California and Texas National Guard troops to Oregon. It does not appear the Trump administration filed an appeal in that case, and a hearing on that appeal is set for tomorrow morning at 9. I did reach out to Dan Rayfield's office for an interview, but I was told he was booked for the day. Reporting in downtown Portland, I'm Shelby Slaughter, K2 News.
I was in Portland yesterday and had the chance to visit with the governor of Oregon and also the mayor. They're in town, and they are absolutely covering up the terrorism that is hitting their streets.
So far, no troops will be in Portland. Okay, as of now. Now this is still like this was posted. Believe it or not, it said 1 hour ago, but this is actually this news report was from days ago. Okay, days ago. So let's jump in to a little bit more from right now. Okay, of what's going on in Portland. Okay, I don't know why they labeled that video 1 hour ago when that news is technically from days ago. So we haven't seen any National Guard in Portland. People still been going to jail in Portland. And, now that the week is on, it has, during the week, it's not as bad it is during the weekends. So, give me 1 second. Let's jump over to what the protests have been looking like.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I am Victor Park with K2 News. We are here outside of the ICE facility right now, and what you're looking at is something different that we have seen. So a lot of people are gathering right around this pole because on the other side of that is a gate that leads into the ICE facility. That gate is propped open with an agent there. And so that has really triggered a lot of these protesters to gather right over here. They're playing music, they're dancing, a lot of those people also in costumes. So it is a little different than we have seen in the past, because usually these ICE agents or federal officers come out from the other gates, that big gate that we have seen usually when it come out to clear the driveway. So anyway, that is really grabbing the attention of a lot of these protesters right now. What is prompting those officers to come out through that gate, we have yet to see. If they're okay, there is one coming out. He or she was initially in between the gate. Now that officer has come out fully, going back in, we're kind of just watching the behavior of the federal agent to see what is next. But that is what we are monitoring right now. I should say that it has been peaceful tonight between counter-protesters and protesters and the federal officers. In fact, we have not seen these federal agents make any arrests or detain anyone tonight. So again, it has been peaceful. This is the most we have seen everyone sort of riled up since we have been here. I believe we got here around 5 o'clock tonight. So that is what has been happening.
Now, is the news accurate
and now
information?
they are all yelling. Okay, we see some federal agents coming out, actually, and they're approaching. What are they doing? Nope. There are people going back towards the federal agents. That is interesting. We have yet to... Okay, what is... I'm trying to figure out what is happening.
Nobody likes mayonnaise.
Are those federal officers? Oh, no, those are federal officers going back. Okay, that's what happened. So, yeah, that gate was propped open for some officers to go in there, and that's what happened. I just kind of thought those may have been protesters but anyway, those were federal officers going in. And then on the right, we have, right over here is where we have that gate that usually everyone sort of, they have their eyes fixed on that usually, because that is where those agents come out and then clear the driveway.
Months. Thank you for being here.
Clashes between the protesters and federal agents, but we have not seen that tonight. We've only seen those agents come out and clear the driveway. All of this is happening, I should mention, as a lot of people are anticipating what may come out from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. As you may know, there is a temporary restraining order on the Trump administration that a Trump-appointed federal judge, allowed. Basically, this federal judge said that the Trump administration cannot deploy the National Guard. Well, the administration appealed that, and then it went to the Ninth Circuit Court. And as you may remember, the Ninth Circuit Court ruled that for now, these National Guard troops are under the authority of Pete Hegseth, and under the Trump administration, not under Tina Kotek. But they cannot be deployed. And so that is what we're waiting on now for the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals.
That don't make sense to me.
Both sides made their argument last week, and now it's up to the judge or a panel of 3 judges to decide whether the Trump administration can deploy these National Guard troops. So as we all wait for that, we're also watching all of this happen. So we'll see what develops tonight, overnight, or tomorrow, or within the week. But again, it has been peaceful. It has been a little bit colder, too, compared to other nights that I have been here.
Okay. So, the whole blocking the National Guard to me makes 0 sense, right? Because what do we have the National Guard for if they're not going to guard the nation and keep our streets safe, right? Now, for, somebody that has more power than the president of the United States, these judges. Now, if the president makes an executive order, he can do whatever the hell he wants. But he's been trying to go through the legal process of doing everything legally. And they're just fighting him every step of the way.
Oregonians to do now?
Be peaceful, but resist. That's the message from our leaders. I'll take a step aside so you can see it's a pretty peaceful day out here. A few dozen folks, a lot in those inflatable costumes that have garnered a lot of attention.
Sorry, guys. I accidentally kicked myself out of the chat room. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me reshare this with you. I clicked on my mouse to slow down how fast my mouse was moving, and it actually kicked me out of the room.
A scene that you would expect would need the National Guard to protect. Currently, a high-stakes case that will determine whether the president can federalize the National Guard to respond to protesters in Portland is up to a panel of 3 judges in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. They are reviewing whether to uphold or lift a temporary restraining order issued by a federal judge in Portland blocking Trump's order. State leaders say they have seen excessive use of force at the ICE building, and ask Oregonians to continue the fight.
So I would encourage folks to be out in the public, to be peaceful, to remain resistant, but we need our judicial branch to step up. We in the legislative branch are certainly doing what we can, but until our Republican colleagues also find their courage, we are all facing escalation of power and frankly, an authoritarian takeover by our government.
Over the weekend, we saw several people detained by federal agents. FBI Portland posting on their social media a breakdown of arrests and citations from this weekend, showing 3 federal arrests and 5 citations, a total number of federal arrests and citations since June, currently 6 at 192. Now, a timeline for when those judges' decision, that's not set in stone. Those lawmakers are hoping that will come by the end of this week, but some legal experts say it can take months. Reporting live in South Portland, Ariel Salk, Coin 6 News.
All right. Months to see if we can
federal judges still
to see if we can bring in federal troops. Months.
Mulling over a decision tonight on whether or not the president's move to federalize the Oregon National Guard and send them to Portland is unlawful. And as the court weighs its decision, protests outside of Portland's ICE facility continue. Federal helicopters dominate the sky, prompting noise complaints from some neighbors, and even one type of protest that's now causing some concerns for local hospitals. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, Fox 12's Michaela Armstrong has been at the ICE facility on South McAdam tonight, keeping an eye on the situation, and she joins us now.
Hit
Michaela,
that
how
like
things
button,
been looking
guys,
tonight?
if you're coming in the room.
Yeah, Ward, there is a larger crowd here tonight, but that crowd has actually dispersed because federal agents just deployed some tear gas. I want to just step to the side so you can see what the crowd looks like right now. Like I said, the crowd did disperse. People are starting to come back to the ICE facility right in front there. But throughout the day, people have been out here in inflatable costumes. There's been a lot of music playing and people dancing. And this happened throughout the day, even with federal agents making some arrests.
That just shows you right there, the news is full of shit, and they're trying to make this out to be like it's nothing, right? Listen, they're complaining about helicopters making noise. We've watched videos for days. Have you guys heard one helicopter? One. No, haven't heard one helicopter. All we've heard is screaming, bullhorns, and people acting a fool out there, fighting and going to jail. And they're saying that the noise complaints are coming from helicopters. Well, maybe, them bullhorns, them stereos they're out there playing, that has nothing to do with the noise complaints. Or the hundreds of people that are standing out in front of people's apartments where people in the apartments are having to move out. That has nothing to do with it, right? It's the helicopters. It's the government that's the problem. It ain't the people. It's the government. Get the hell out of here with that. Right? That is crazy. That is crazy talk.
What a difference a few days can make. Last Saturday, tear gas was a constant. But this Saturday, protesters turned the area into a party.
There's been an uptick in the silliness and the fun side of it. Not that this is a fun thing that.
Oh, yeah, that's what y'all trying to make it. Don't even get the hell out of here. Y'all ain't even serious about illegal immigration. Y'all out there to turn it into a clown show at this point, right? That's what y'all doing. But the only people that look like clowns is the people out there dressed like clowns.
We're doing, but community is beautiful, and joy in standing up for your neighbors is beautiful, and showing that we are nonviolent, and there's nothing more nonviolent than silly costumes.
However, one counter-protester says she is not falling for it.
I think my guess is they're trying to do that for optics, to sort of make it look like there's not actually rioting going on, when in reality there's definitely rioting going on, because a terrorist is still a terrorist whether they have a costume on or not.
The calm energy did change slightly when federal agents detained at least 3 protesters coming on the hills of Friday night, when no arrests were made at all. Other changes over the past days include a campsite that was there for months, cleared out earlier in the week.
You see, ICE ain't treating it like a party. They're treating it like what it is, a crazy protest full of Antifa people wearing costumes, right? Just because you put a costume on don't mean you ain't Antifa, right? It's the same thing. You just wearing a silly costume.
Which has started to return again, but slowly.
They're not able to stock up on supplies because they're getting swept, they're getting stolen, they're getting taken by whether it's Portland Police clearing the space or the DHS or federal agents, whomever is coming out.
Another change, according to some protesters, is the increase of counter-protesters. Pamela Hemphill says one woman nearly attacked her.
Quit filming me. She's calling me all kind, and I'm not saying a word. They do that on purpose, hoping something will trigger you, and then you'll go, come at them, and no, because it can happen real easy. We're only human.
But one counter-protester disagrees.
These people are terrorizing the ICE officers and the building, and they're, writing graffiti, saying death to Trump. They're encouraging the ICE officers to jump off the roof and kill themselves.
Now, we have heard them say that, telling the people to jump off the roof and die. Their wives don't like them. I mean, we've heard all this. This lady's not lying. This lady's absolutely telling the truth. I've heard it with my own ears, watching it right here, that they're telling the people to jump off the roof and stuff like that. I mean, it's just total hatefulness. And I say deport more people. That's what I say, right? Because I think what they're doing is hurting the cause. They're hurting the cause, is what I say.
So to me, that's terrorism.
However, what one may see as menacing, another sees as a joyful way to get change.
Portland is showing up in their shark costumes. They're bringing pizza by for everyone. They're singing songs in the corner. I mean, there's kids here today. This is not.
That's terrible. Anybody that would bring their kids out there, you need CPS at your house. Okay. Anybody that would take their kids out there to that, you seriously need some help.
That's what people need to see. That's what's changing, is we're getting louder in our joy of resistance.
Aside from the tear gas, in the last 15 minutes, we've also seen protesters hit with pepper balls. The crowd has returned, and we don't know what is going to happen, if there's going to be more tear gas deployed, but we will continue to keep you updated if anything changes. In South Portland, Michaela Armstrong, Fox 12 Oregon.
All right.
In Portland, protests continue as the Ninth Circuit Court weighs whether National Guard troops can be deployed to that city. Oregon Democrats say the move is unnecessary. Local leaders there say that the demonstrations, largely peaceful, are protected by the First Amendment. Many protesters wearing inflatable costumes, holding signs, and chanting and dancing outside the immigration building there. Leaders worry the arrival of the National Guard could only escalate tensions.
I'm concerned about that prospect, and the president could at any time invoke the Insurrection Act, and it is completely unwarranted.
We came down here to sing peacefully, to show ICE and the federal government that we are not rioting, we are not being dangerous.
A decision from the court is expected any day.
Oh yeah, raise the target! Raise the target, you nasty motherfucker!
They're going after him. They're going after him. He's got the laser on him. He's running. He's running. Look at him go.
Okay, then why, if they ain't doing nothing wrong in them costumes, why are they running in them costumes?
City leaders are explaining what could change near the ICE building after Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem left Portland earlier this week.
Fox 12's Spencer Shaw caught up with the mayor as well as city council president and the chief of police today. Spencer joins us live near the ICE building. Spencer, how does it look now and what's changed?
Good morning.
Well, Nora P., as of right now, there's only about a dozen protesters outside of the ICE building. We do see one PPB patrol.
If you have a problem with them deporting illegal aliens, go vote, right? You should have got out and vote, but you didn't. Okay. Deport more. Screw you, Dolly. If you're in this country illegal, that the key word right here is illegal. You need to go back. You need to get into this country legally. If you're out here in our country and you support lawlessness, you're probably a bad person, right? You probably break the law yourself. You know, a lot of these people, the reason we got to watch our children when they go outside and play, okay, because they don't care about cartels, drugs, gangs on the street, okay? All I want is a safer environment for people's kids to grow up in. I want you to be able to go in the store and not get busted in the head. I want you to be able to walk down the street without getting shot or stabbed, right? You tell that to the family, that girl in Maryland that was brutally raped and murdered by an illegal immigrant that shouldn't have been in this country. You tell that to the families that have been destroyed by illegal immigrants, that have been hurt or victimized behind these people. We want bad people out of our country. Simple as that. And if you don't, then so be it. I hope that violence falls on your doorsteps. No, I don't. I take that back. I take that back. I don't want no violence to happen to anybody. That's the reason I don't want these people in this country. But if this stuff was to happen to you, Jen, I don't think you would be saying that stuff. I don't think you would be in here. You'd be screaming, deport all these people. All I'm saying is let's get the bad people out of our country. We don't need them here. We don't want your bad people. We want your good people. I want it easier for immigrants to get into this country legally. But the bad people gotta go. I don't care if they load every last one of them up today and ship their ass back to Guatemala, Mexico, wherever the hell they came from. I don't care if they came from the UK. I don't care if they came from Australia. If your ass is a bad person and you have a terrible criminal record, your ass don't belong in our country. Bye. See you. Wouldn't want to be you.
Car just across the street from the ICE building. But over the last few days, we've seen a much larger police presence down here. And Chief of Police Bob Day says you can come to expect more police down at the ICE building as a part of his commitment to Secretary Noem. Wednesday night, PPB made a handful of arrests outside the ICE facility in South Portland, just days after Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem asked PPB Chief of Police Bob Day to commit to increasing patrols in this area.
We've done that. We've increased our enforcement. Last night we did more down there, made 4 arrests, I believe. So we have more officers in the area.
Day also said his officers are working closely with Oregon State Police. While Secretary Noem was in Portland, her list of demands was directed at more than just PPB. She also asked Mayor Wilson if the city would take over ICE's lease on the South Waterfront. Mayor Wilson said he's considering it.
Noted that their mission at ICE and our mission as a city, we're not matching. There's a miss on that. So we explained to them that that location might be not good for what their mission is. It certainly isn't helping our city or our mission.
Wilson even suggested Noem relocate ICE outside of Multnomah County. And while this is not a done deal, it is a conversation the mayor is having with City Council.
You're saying that you don't like the conditions here. Here's a possible solution.
Now, I also asked Mayor Wilson and Chief Day to respond to some of the accusations Secretary Noem made, saying that they are covering up terrorist organizations here in Portland. They both rejected those accusations, saying the secretary just made it up. Reporting in South Portland, Spencer Schott, Fox 12 Oregon.
Spencer, thank you. Several Oregon lawmakers penned a letter to Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem following her recent visit to Portland.
Fox 12's Ward Jollis has a look at what's in that letter.
Well, the letter takes a very stern tone and demands explanations for several recent events near the ICE facility in South Portland. Congresswomen Suzanne Bonamici and Maxine Dexter, along with Senators Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley, signed off on this letter to Secretary Noem. The letter starts off with local leaders recalling their own visit to the ICE facility in South Portland from 2 weeks ago, and it brings up some concerns over, quote, human rights violations by Federal Protective Service agents at the building. They point to cases of ICE agents, quote, instigating clashes with protesters.
Yes, listen, after 9/11, we seen most tragic event in our country. Some people forget 9/11, like Jen that was just in here. She forgets about 9/11 and terrorists coming into our country and attacking, them being able to just breeze through the borders and, hijack airplanes and crash them into buildings and kill thousands of innocent Americans, destroy millions, just thousands of homes, right? Kids without their parents. I haven't forgot that. I haven't forgot about that, right? And I don't think a lot of Americans have forgot about that yet either. We have to tighten up our borders. You can't walk into Canada. You can't walk into any other country. As Americans, we can't just jump on a plane and go to another country. We have to have passports. And to get that passport, of course, they check your legal background to make sure you're not a criminal. You can't even get into Canada with a DUI. You can't even get into Canada with some misdemeanor crimes. Misdemeanor crimes, not felony crimes, but misdemeanor crimes. Okay, you actually have to get permission if you have a misdemeanor crime to even get into Canada. That's just Canada. That's our neighbor. Okay, so you got to have these things. You can't just go live in Mexico as an American. Even Mexico has rules. But yet we're supposed to be borderless and allow anything to go. And while we pay these people to live in hotels and buy them food and put a strain on our medical systems, there's still homeless people, homeless Americans on the street that these people don't give a damn about. They care about immigrants more than they care about their own fellow Americans. That is absolutely horrible. And that has to change in our country, right? Now, some people hate when you say this, but I'm America first. Okay? Our country comes first. And then if we can help other people, then we help other people. But we help our people first and foremost. Until we solve our own problems of where we're going to put our own people, we ain't taking your people. Okay? We're not taking your bad. We got to fix the problems, our broken system.